Okay guys, pretty stunning breaking news. A whole civilization will die tonight. That is what Trump has just said moments ago on Truth Social. Now, referring to the end of this deadline that he's giving Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, he said, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. The exact deadline, he gave it to the hour, is 8 p.m. Eastern time. Now, he said that tonight will be one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. He said 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. Now, just to add a little bit of balance to that, because that's pretty concerning and scary to hear, but Trump has made similar threats in the past and deadlines that have passed. So this is not guaranteed.
Donald Trump said Iran's entire civilization will die tonight. He spoke after the Islamic regime rejected his peace demands. The clock is ticking down to the president's deadline to unleash hell on the country. Trump told his followers on Truth Social, "A whole civilization will die tonight. It will never be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, with different, smarter, and less radicalized minds, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen."
Donald Trump has threatened to commit a war crime. Let's talk about it. On Tuesday morning, Donald Trump tweeted out, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want this to happen, but it probably will." Now let's not forget that Donald Trump is the one who launched this regime change war in Iran. And if you're anything like me, you question, who does this war benefit? Who does it serve? It doesn't serve the American people, but there is an argument that it serves the Iranian people. But what can you say now? Now that Donald Trump said he's going to kill the Iranian civilization, how does it serve the Iranian people? How does that serve the American people? Well, I think I actually might know who it does serve. If you recall, Benjamin Netanyahu called for Amalek of the Iranian people, basically inciting a genocide on the Iranian people. So who gets what they want if Donald Trump follows through with this? Who gets what they want if Donald Trump does blow up the entire civilization? Who gets what they want if Donald Trump takes out the entire electrical grid in Iran? Well, Benjamin Netanyahu gets what he wants.
Trump posted something this morning that stopped a lot of people cold. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. His exact words on Truth Social this morning. Here's where things stand right now. Trump's deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz expires at 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. If no deal, he's threatened to destroy Iran's power plants and bridges. Dow futures obviously dropped 200 points right after that post. S&P futures down 0.5%. NASDAQ futures down another 0.5%. But here's the part most people are completely missing. Talks are still happening. Axios reported the U.S. and Iran are discussing a potential 45-day ceasefire. Reuters confirmed a Pakistan-brokered plan is currently being reviewed. So you have the most aggressive posts of this entire war and active peace negotiations happening at the exact same time. That is the market we're in right now. And here's what's interesting. Monday, with all of that tension, stocks actually closed higher. The market is exhausted by the headlines. It stopped reacting the way that it used to. That's not a green light, but it does tell you something about where sentiment actually is. Most investors are still betting this ends sooner rather than later.
We have breaking Iran news right now. The American president is issuing a threat to commit a massive war crime in Iran tonight. He is saying now that a whole civilization, referring to Iran, will die tonight, never to be brought back again. He says he doesn't want it to happen, but it probably will.
Iran is now calling on its own people to form human shields. State media is urging young people, students, athletes, even professors to literally link their arms and form human circles around power plants. Why is this happening? Well, it's all because a major deadline from President Trump is closing in as we speak. He has threatened to bomb Iran's power plants and bridges if the Strait of Hormuz isn't fully reopened to global shipping. And that's a huge deal here. About 20% of the world's oil moves through that one route. Now, now, Iranian officials are framing these power plants as national assets, and they're calling on youth to protect them with their bodies. You know, this isn't the first time we've seen this. There have been similar calls to guard nuclear sites in the past. It goes even further. Iran's president says 14 million people have volunteered and are ready to sacrifice their lives in defense of their country. And a new development coming down this morning, President Donald Trump threatening on Truth Social that a, quote, whole civilization will die tonight if a deal with Iran is not reached and the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened by his deadline at 8 p.m. Eastern.
In a new post on Truth Social, Donald Trump says an entire civilization is going to lose their lives tonight. Check this out. He says a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radical minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily.
So ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you're all doing well today and welcome to the channel. So you have seen how things are just turning over so drastically, and I'm sorry guys, don't mind about my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather today. So now you've seen that Donald Trump has given an ultimatum to the Iranian government to do their own thing, and we've seen this guy doing this like most of the time. But you know, like I'm sitting and I'm asking myself, for how long is this going to happen? And in most cases, we are always blamed. We are always blamed because when you see people at the ballot, there are different people who sell their manifestos, and you're able to tell, like, is this guy going to do what they're saying, or they're just doing it? But most people went to the ballot with really mixed feelings because they did not want to vote in a black woman. You know, they did not want another black person to be the president. They were shouting and saying, you know what, we are going to make America great again. Yes, they had their own cause. They had their own beliefs, which is valid, by the way. But then again, I feel like we give these leaders a lot of permission to be audacious, you know, because you cannot put an entire citizen, an entire nation on the line because you're so hungry and there's something that you're looking into. And you can see that Donald Trump is trying to be relevant in all cases. He's trying to be relevant because you see members of the NATO community also say they're not going to be part of this, what this man is doing, you know? Yeah, and it's really out of context. It's really out of this world, because when you speak, when you just wake up one morning and tweet that a whole entire generation is going to be wiped out, that is a threat. Like, you're putting your citizens into a threat. And right now, you've seen the economical factor of the United States of America. It's not really going well. A lot of investors are pulling out. And a lot of people are just going, people are living in fear. And then as the president, you should be doing something, not just throwing tantrums and giving people ultimatums. But I'm not even certain if he's going to do what he's willing to do. Because why? What is the reason? So everyone is asking. Nobody is really benefiting from this fight of Iranian people and Trump. I'm not going to say like the American people are involved, because basically you've heard they don't want to be part of this. So who is really benefiting on this war? The Iranian government is not benefiting. The United States of America citizens are not benefiting. In fact, they are losing right now. So ladies and gentlemen, maybe we can have a discussion on this. What is the motive behind Trump really wanting to engage himself with the Iranian government? So guys, in case you're new here, my name is Yvonne, and to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. To my new subscribers, you're welcome to being part of my online family, and comment below. Let's know, like, what is the motive towards this, and who are the people who are likely to lose more when it comes to this. Until next time.